The room is spinning and I can't breathe, and ooh, my head is just aching. Hands don't stop sweating and my knees.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? I am back with a new video. Welcome to Junior's World of Soul, man. This is the first video of this new and hopefully great year 2020. Now, I know y'all like, hold up, you sitting down. Well, this is a whole new thing I want to do. I want to do a whole new thing for Junior's World of Soul. I want to add some new content and things like that. And I came up with this idea thanks to my brother Sin, who I feel like is the executive producer when it comes to Junior's World of Soul. Like, he helps me out on a lot of things, my topics and all this kind of thing. But me and him was having this conversation as far as we was going back and forth because Neo and Usher. And we was just talking about their careers, and I was just like, bro, you just gave me another idea. Inspiration comes from anywhere. And I said, let me talk about, an artist like maybe twice a month, and pick an artist, a classic artist, and then talk about a recent artist, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, that would be dope to give what my feelings is, maybe how I feel like, their music shifted a little bit and what went wrong and why did we connect with them. It's not gonna be no gossip thing, because y'all know I don't do that here. It's all about the music here. So I was like, every 2 weeks, what I want to do, get me my little wine, give me a nice little glass, you know what I'm saying? Thanks to one of my best friends, Shelly, got me a nice little glass, because she tried to come with me with the red cup, but y'all know the red cup ain't going nowhere, so sorry, Shelly. But yeah, and I just want to have a conversation with y'all and see what y'all think, how y'all feel. So I said, I'm gonna start calling this content, I'm gonna call it JR's Talk with a Sip. JR's Talk with a Sip. I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So this artist, I said, why not talk about Neo and kind of where his career went and what kind of went wrong and how everybody disconnected with him. So I wanted to talk about that, you know what I mean? So starting, y'all see I came in with Stay, and but how I actually really connected with Neo was actually a song that he wrote. And and it was unbelievable to me because, for me, I'm not the biggest Marcus Houston solo fan, and I'm gonna keep that real. I like when he was Batman or Roger Go Home. That was my thing. Solo-ish, I wasn't here for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it felt kind of gimmicky to me, and that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So when this song came out, Marcus Houston was never known for no background vocals like that. Not for me anyway. I didn't pay attention to it. And as much as y'all know and watching Junior's World of Soul, I'm a lover of background vocals. I'm here for background vocals. So when I was listening to this song, it was something about these background vocals that caught me. I was like, I'm liking this. I'm like, wait a minute. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm connected to this, and I'm like, who the heck is this? So me, I am a line and those type of dude. I want to know who wrote it, who produced it, who's playing what, and all that kind of stuff. I've been like that since I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I was like, who the hell wrote this song? So I went and did my little research when it used to be CD Now. Y'all remember that? CD Now used to go on there and and they would tell you like who did this and who did what and all this kind of stuff. Because I'm sorry, I wasn't buying no Marcus Houston single. Just keep it real for what it is. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't lie to y'all here. I don't do that. I wasn't buying no single. I like the song, but I was like, no. So I went and I went online. I was like, Shada Smith? Who the hell is this? Like, who's Shada Smith? And mind you, he's not known. So when you clicking on this name, you ain't getting nowhere. It said, no data found. I was like, all right. So obviously he's new or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. So I was like, mind you, that's in the back of my mind. I'm like, all right, cool. So mind you, time goes on. Now I'm a Mario fan. Like, I'm a big Mario fan because I've been a fan of him even for Just a Friend. Not just because I'm in Baltimore now, but I was a fan of him because I used to love his song Braid My Hair. So braid my hair was my joint because I had braids during that time. I wish I had some pictures to show y'all, but I had some braids, and I used to love that record. So I was a Mario fan. So his first album I thought was dope. Then it was time for the second album to come out, and then the first single came, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the one here. I was like, oh yeah, he got one there. This is smooth. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, oh shit. So I know when he was doing interviews, he was like, he worked with Scott Storch, things like that. And I was like, oh, Scott Storch, you know what I'm saying? After, you know, with him working with Justin and Christina and all this, I was like, oh, Scott Storch did a dope, you know, beat to this. I was like, yo, but who wrote this? So of course, me again, I go look, Jada Smith. I was like, yo, this dude was the same dude that wrote That Girl for Marcus Houston. And then it made sense, because if you listen to Let Me Love You and you listen to That Girl, you know that, like, you hear the background, so you kind of know the way Neo writes. And you like his background vocals, it was kind of like the same. And I was like, yo, this dude is nothing to play with. Like, I was like, yo, he's dope. You know what I'm saying? And this came out, at the end of 2004, if I'm not mistaken? It might have been. I don't remember. But then after that, that's when Mario was doing his interviews, because the record was so huge. Everybody was like, yo, who helped you write this record? You know what I'm saying? He was like, Neo, this guy Neo wrote the record. And mind you, when I'm hearing him say it, my mind is like, wait a minute, who the hell is Neo? And I'm like, oh, it's the Jada Smith dude. Okay, cool. So the record is huge. We're into 2005 and all this, and Jay-Z becomes the president. And he becomes the president of Def Jam. And he said he signed these new artists. He was like Rihanna, and he got this new guy named Neo. And I was like, oh, Neo, the one that wrote, you know, the song. You know what I'm saying? The one that wrote the joint for Marcus Houston, and the one that wrote this Mario joint. Okay, cool. He's signing them to a label. Okay, cool. So then, at the end of 2005, if I'm not mistaken, this is the time where now it's Chris Brown, Neo, and Trey Songz. Now Chris Songz. Let me take a sip. Chris Brown comes out with Run It. It's out of here. Trey Songz comes with what's the song? Gotta Make It. That's the first single. So you could tell the lanes are completely different. You know what I mean? And then Neo comes with Stay, and the song that I came in with. So I was just like, okay. I was like, okay, here we go. Okay, this Michael wannabe type of dude. You know what I mean? Like, here we go. But the video with him and Jamaica for Stay reminded me of, you know, Omarion Such, because they was getting it in the video. But I was like, come on, we already got somebody like this already. Like, come on already, you know what I'm saying? But it was like BET was really playing this. I mean, probably Jay-Z was throwing them dollars, you know what I'm saying? No here, there, you know what I'm saying? But also Neo was also riding the high of Let Me Love You. That song was just huge. It was a huge record. That took Mario out of here. You know what I mean? So Stay is getting played, and I liked it. It was a nice little bop, you know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, I like it, all right, you know what I mean? But it was like, again, I was sitting here like, okay, we got this freaking Michael wannabe, like, what the heck is going on? So finally, Neo's single comes out, and it's this joint right here, So Sick. I was like, okay, wait a minute, hold up, stop the press. I was like, wait a minute, this song is dope. And I felt like this song, it connected to me. My mom liked it. Even my grandparents liked it when they heard it, because it's smooth. You know what I'm saying? And Neo's writing, serious. But this song was all over the place. And I was like, okay, Neo, you got me on this one. Like, you really got me on this one. Because now it's like, okay, Chris Brown is on his second single, and I think it was Yo. it was Yo. That was Chris Brown's second single. Neo's second single is Stay, and then you got Trey Songz with Gotta Leave or Gotta Go. That's what it Gotta Go. That's when I Gotta Leave. I'm thinking like Vivian Green. Girl, no. But so they each had a different vibe. Chris Brown got a nice little cute thing with Yo, but he's connecting to that, you know, kiddie audience. You know what I'm saying? Trey Songz Gotta Go. That joint is very R&B-ish, and I feel like So Sick was kind of like in the middle. Like it gave you a little bit of that crossover appeal, but it was still an R&B record. So of course I was like, oh, let me go and online, because I'm in college now. So I was like, let me go online, let me see who the heck helped Neo do this. And it was Stargate. And I know it's Eric is one of their names. I forgot what the other one is, but Stargate. And I was like, oh, I like this. Okay, Neo, you on to something. You know what I'm saying? And this song ended up going to #1 for Neo. And it was like, okay. And then he doing it live, and Neo can sing. Chris Brown was more of the performer. Trey Songz, God bless his heart, but he had the R&B thing. You know what I'm saying? But then the next song actually made me go buy the album, in my own words. And it was When You're Mad, with produced by, written by him and Robert Taylor. They did this record. This record will remain my favorite Neo record to this day. Like, this song is so smooth. Like, it just makes you want to just, like, you can't help but to sit. You gotta move to it. That's how it's so smooth. And then the video made it even better, because then it gave Neo a different style. Because the So Sick video, he and his girl and they in the mountains, and you know what I'm saying, Neo wearing his little sweater cap, because he got to, because Neo know that head, you gotta wear a hat, brother. But this video is different. He's wearing, you know, I'm saying cowboy hat, but it's not a cowboy. He's wearing that type of hat. He wearing a button-down shirt. He wearing some, you know, some khakis, and he wearing some loafers in the video. And it kind of gave you a Michael-ish smooth type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? It gave you kind of like a little bit of an off-the-wall image-wise, you know what I'm saying? But then it still had like a little bit of a Michael smooth to it. You know what I'm saying? Smooth production of what Quincy was doing on stuff on Off the Wall and Thriller. It kind of gave you that vibe. So When You Mad, love the record. And then I was like, I gotta buy this Neo album. And when I went and brought it, I love the album. I thought it was a great debut. You know what I'm saying? It definitely showed the difference between Trey, Neo, and Chris. Because I had Chris, I had Trey, and now I had Neo. And you definitely saw that these three dudes were completely different. You know what I'm saying? And I just love that Neo's album was very R&B based, but it had a crossover vibe to it, with songs like So Sick and songs like When You're Mad and Let's Go. But then he had them R&B records like Sign Me Up and I Gotta Tell You and Get Down Like That, because Get Down Like That even had the remix with Ghostface. You know what I'm saying? So it still had that hip-hop type of credibility because of Ghostface, but it still had that R&B, you know, them booming 808s to it, you know what I'm saying, type of joints. But then you had the crossover, So Sick and When You're Mad, and then this one right here just kind of took Neo out of here, and this was Sexy Love, again produced by Stargate. And by this time, I think that Neo realized what's gonna get me my bag as far as that crossover, you know what I'm saying? Because So Sick, #1 record. When You're Mad, I think went like top 20. But then Sexy Love did, I think it peaked at #6 or 7. So it crossed, this was a big crossover for him. So I think Neo realized, okay, I know what I gotta do. I kind of gotta be R&B-ish, but I still gotta have a pop flavor to it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what him and Stargate did. You know what I'm saying? Together, and that's how I feel like they created a great chemistry with each other. But also, I forget one thing about Neil. Neil will always give you a sexy record, and that's just what it was. And we're gonna talk about that later on. But he gives you that, and that was with Mirror. So when you listen to In My Own Words, it was definitely a great breakthrough. You know what I'm saying? So now, by this time, you know what I'm saying, Neo is like, he's getting known for his writing, because now, I'm gonna say era, because this is the In My Own Words era. He wrote Irreplaceable for Beyonce. He wrote Unfaithful for Rihanna. He wrote Gallery for Mario Vasquez. So he's getting known as a writer. You know what I'm saying? Like, pen game is sick. You know what I'm saying? So now this is his era. You coming out now. He got a new album coming out. He was telling us it was coming out in 2007, and I'm so glad that he came out first with the second project before Chris did, before Trey came out, because now he was able to kind of lead the pack, and he did. And when I heard this, I was like, uh-oh, he's back again. And who produced this? Stargate. Again, I think he has a great chemistry with Stargate. I feel like his chemistry with them, they have a musical chemistry. Like, I put them on like what Michael and Quincy, Janet and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Brandy and Rodney Jerkins. Like, I really feel like they had a chemistry, and it worked. You know what I'm saying? Because of You, when I heard the single, I loved it. I was like, Neo, I'm ready. When is this album coming out? It came out in April. I brought it off the break because he had me. You know what I'm saying? Because of You, it kind of gave you When You're Mad, and it kind of gave you a little bit of Sexy Love. It gave you that vibe because it was Stargate. You know what I'm saying? And it's catchy. Like, you couldn't help it. You know what I'm saying? So after me buying the record, Neo doing this time, he's the it writer right now, because he done wrote for everybody. And I mean everybody. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like you're focusing more on his songwriting. But I felt like the Because of You album, he got better. The songs on it, Can We Chill, he did with Eric Hudson. Do You, he did with the Heavyweights. Go On Girl, Stargate. Say It, which is the sexy record that he did. Angel, Make It Work, all those type of records. You know what I'm saying? Was kind of like, and then Leaving You Tonight, which was another duet that he did with Jennifer Hudson. And mind you, Jennifer Hudson's fans is going to buy it because now she's out, so people's representing. So Neo had all the cards were right for him. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like this era basically put him on a different vibe, because now we know what he was focused on. Neo was kind of in that middle of that pop and that R&B. Chris Brown now he has that R&B flavor, but he still is kiddish. Sorry, and this is the truth, Trey was kind of getting left behind. It was kind of, people was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? All right, Trey, we like your Can't Help But Wait and, Wonder Woman and all that, but I think the focus was more on Chris and Neo. And I'm glad Neo came out with Because of You before Chris Brown came out with his exclusive album at the end of 2007. You know what I'm saying? But now in this era, again, everybody wants to connect with Neo because he can write, and he can write hits. So what I also like is Neo is also keeping it R&B too, because then he did the Make Me Better. He's keeping it kind of urban because he got on the hook of Make Me Better with him and Fabulous. Then he wrote a lot of joints for Mary's Growing Pains. He wrote about 4 or 5 songs. He wrote a lot of songs for Rihanna's Good Girl Gone Bad. So it's like he's that focus right now. He's in his bag right now. He's like, he getting the songwriting money, he getting the artist money, and he's different. And to me, he was a lot more of that Michael off the wall image. that image was shining through. You know what I'm saying? Because he was wearing the, you know, the slacks and you know what I'm saying, the loafers and the, you know, the little button down. But he was still keeping it R&B though. But you could kind of tell that Neo knew where his lane was. You know what I'm saying? But then that third album, y'all, that third album, which is my favorite album from Neo, which is Year of the Gentleman. Year of the Gentleman, y'all. Come on. Hey. Hey. Woo. When I heard this, I said, oh, because now during this time, y'all, EDM is really coming into mainstream again. Like, it's that sound again. It's kind of like quote unquote disco-ish. You know what I'm saying? And it's becoming, now everybody is kind of going to Stargate there, and a lot of people are wanting that EDM vibe. So I'm like, okay. So when Neo did it with Closer, but it still had like a bounce to it. It still had a soul to it, and I liked it. I was like, oh, Neo, he's out of here with it. You know what I'm saying? And then when he really was on some off the wall vibe with this album, Year of the Gentleman, because let me tell you something. He was all suited up. It was all suits. It was all cowboy hat. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was smooth with this, and he was killing it in this video. You know what I'm saying? People sleep on Neo as a performer. The dude can perform his butt off, like, for real. Like, he's a performer too. Like, is he gonna be out there freaking crumping like Chris Brown? No. You know what I'm saying? But he's gonna be doing a lot more than Trey. No disrespect. Trey just gonna sit there and take off his shirt and sing to you. You know what I'm saying? That ain't Neo. Neo is gonna give you some entertainment, and that's what I like, you know, about Neo. And again, that showed the difference. So you can be a fan of each of them because each of them had something different. You know what I mean? But Year of the Gentleman, my favorite Neo album, because I felt like he got it right in everything he did. You know what I'm saying? He worked with Stargate again on this album. He worked with Robert Taylor, who they did Lie to Me together. But you know, he worked with Chuck Harmony, who is part of Louis York, that he did Stop the World, and he did Mad, if I'm not mistaken. But Neo had hits off this. Like, he was on fire with this. Then everybody loved Miss Independent. Everybody loved it. You could not like Miss Independent. Like, you bugging if you didn't like it. Like, this song, yeah. Like, he had the girl. Like, it just made sense. Just everything about this album made sense. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Neo, you've done it. You've done it. Like, to me, every album he did, in my own words, Because of You, and then now, Year of the Gentleman, he got better and better and better. I was like, Neo, you all right with me. You know what I'm saying? So then with this album, because let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about this Year of the Gentleman album too. This was a play at Capitol College. Everybody was rocking to it. Everybody, I mean, even the quote-unquote G's was playing this joint. Everybody was liking it. And Lie to Me was played a lot. And you can tell when you hear Lie to Me, it sounds like a Michael Jackson record. Like, you could tell he was definitely influenced by Michael. You know what I'm saying? And also, you could also tell he was influenced by Darnell Jones, because him and Darnell Jones kind of had the same image. You know what I'm saying? Because Darnell Jones was smooth. You know what I'm saying? And kind of like these records, but, you know, Darnell wasn't dancing like crazy. I mean, he was doing what he wanted to do, and girl, you know what's up. But he wasn't doing like choreography and videos like Neo, you know what I'm saying? But they kind of had the similar styles to each other. And Neo lets it be known he was influenced by him. But when you hear a song like Lie to Me, this sound, I can hear Michael all over this. Like, I can hear Michael all over this record. And like I said, at Capitol College, a lot of people was playing this because a lot of people might have been getting lied to. Okay? Mm-hmm. I'll take a sip on that one. You know what I mean? But again, Year of the Gentleman, I was like, yes, Neo, you did it. I was like, yo, how can you get better than this? You know what I'm saying? How can you get better than this? He ended up winning a Grammy 2 Grammys for this. I think he won for Best R&B Album, and he won for Best R&B Song for Miss Independent. And then for Because of You, he won for Best R&B Album, Contemporary Album. But he won a Grammy for that album, and he won 2 for Year of the Gentleman. I wish I would have saw him live during that era, but everything about the Year of the Gentleman was perfect. It was just perfect. Because you had the R&B flavor, you had the pop flavor, you had everything on it. He worked with everybody that he knew that would be a great album, and it was great. Now, this is when everything kind of turns. Everything turns, but we're going to Libra scale. This is kind of when everything changes. Now, when I heard Champagne Life, I loved it. I was like, okay, Neo, this is very R&B-ish. Like, normally I was ready for something that was a pop pill to it, but still had an R&B, kind of underline with it. This was straight R&B, and I was like, ooh, is pop radio gonna really rock with this? But I was like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Never know. So I liked this record. My mom liked it. My grandfather liked it. We all liked it. We blasted this all the way when we was going to Atlantic City to actually see Mary J. Blige. And my mom got a nice little limo, and we got in there. And my grandfather was like, I want to hear that song by that boy Neo. What he call it now? Because my grandfather's country, y'all. So he was like, what he call that song? What? Hey, Junior, what's that song called? I was like, Champagne Life. He was like, yeah, play that. I like that. And we played that round the clock. Mind you, it took us about an hour and a half to get to Atlantic City from where my mother is. So to hear the song over and over again, it was crazy. But y'all know we had our liquor in our bag. Hello, it wasn't a Champagne Life. It was a liquor light. Hello. But it was like, okay. And then I knew pop radio wasn't going to touch this. I knew it. I was like, okay. But the video was dope, everything. But then Neo started doing promo for the album because he said, I got a new album, Libra Scale. So as a fan, I was like, I'm buying it because I'm a fan of Neo. You know what I'm saying? I was a fan of him. Then the second single was, I was like, okay. I was like, now this is the Neo that can get that crossover appeal joint. And this joint was called 1 in a Million.
Call me Mr. Bennett, that top model chick.
Hey!
Less than all, but more than
but he's spitting. But when the beat comes in, see, this is, I was like, Neo, okay, Neo got it with this one. But it didn't go anywhere. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? So when I brought the album and I was listening to it and I was like, uh-oh. Like my first listen, this was the first time I did my first listen, I was like, I don't like it. I was like, this is not doing anything for me. Like, Neo, you did 3 great albums and you get to this and we get this? I was like, as a fan, I was like, no, Neo, I don't like this. I don't like it at all. This ain't doing nothing for me. So, mind you, when I heard, and this, I like 1 in a Million, I like Champagne Life, and I like Because I Said So. Because it gives you that Year of the Gentleman flavor. It gives you that closer vibe. You know, and I was like, okay, I like this. And then I like the joint. It start with a T. I can't even think about it right now. But then this is the album that everybody disconnected. You disconnected from Neo because you was like, wait, I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, this is during the time, this is 2010. This is the time that Chris Brown is going through his issues, and then you got kind of Trey Songz on the rise because he done came out with Ready. He did Passion Pain. So now it's just Neo and freaking Trey Songz because Chris Brown, because ain't nobody rocking with him right now because y'all know what happened. But it's like those two. And I got Passion, Pain, and Pleasure, and I love that album from Trey Songz. And then he did Ready, which that was kind of Trey Songz coming out. But that's his kind of coming out album that everybody kind of breakthrough album. Everybody's like, oh, this is him. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm like, okay, you got Trey, Neo, what you gonna do? And then I got this, and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, Neo, I'm not happy as a fan. You know what I'm saying? And then I think the label knew that none of the records was hitting. Then they brought out That Beautiful Monster. Sorry, y'all. They brought out That Beautiful Monster, which I did not like at all. I was not a fan of it at all. I was like, no, Neil, what is this? So finally, when he did an interview, he said Libra Scale was supposed to be a visual album. And it was, because he did a whole movie for it. You know what I'm saying? And when you watch the movie, it makes sense. Like, you have albums that's supposed to be a visual album, and you have albums that is going to be, you know, you can kind of get a single here and there. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to Libra Scale, I was like, no, Neo. I was like, no, Neo, I'm not. This ain't working. And I think people disconnected after that because he was starting something too early. We wasn't ready for it. The label didn't want to give him the money for it, so it kind of messed up everything. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was the first album everybody really started to disconnect with Neo, right? But it wasn't too bad because I'm like, he 3 in, so cool. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like Neo starts working out, he starts getting buff, all this kind of stuff and everything, and I'm like, I know he not about to take the Trey Songz route because he ain't gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he doing? And then he comes out, he said, I got a new album coming out. He's calling it Red. And I'm like, okay. And then the first single is Lazy Love. I did not like it. I still not a fan of Lazy Love. I was like, the video was too much. I was like, Neil, this is not your lane. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is not your lane. This is how I felt. I was like, this is not your lane. What are you doing? This is Trey Songz' lane. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? But then it was like, I was like, I'm still going to get the album because I'm a fan of Neo. I was like, you might mess up with the first single because the same thing happened with Stay. When he came out with Stay, I was like, But then when he did So Sick, I was like, great. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm just going to buy the album. Cool. It was all over the place for me. Again, I feel like this was the second time people, because then Neo had some good songs on there. Like some good joints on there. Like this. Mrs. Right. Great song. Be the One was a great song. Stress Reliever. She Is with Tim McGraw. Should Be You. These type of R&B records, and I was like, yes, Neo, this is what I like. But it seemed like once he felt like Lazy Love wasn't doing it and the EDM joint was going on right now, then he goes to this. No, not that one. That type of flavor. Like, I'm like this. And then he goes this. If I felt like these songs were hits for Neo, you know what I'm saying, Forever Now and Let Me Love You and Let's Go, these songs were hits for him, but I felt like after a while the soul was getting taken out. Like Neo was connecting with the EDM. If you listen to Year of the Gentleman and you listen to Because of You, you got that EDM flavor in there, but it had a soul to it. These songs didn't have no soul to it. So it was like his R&B audience, it was like we was disconnected, especially with the singles. Because if you were a single bound person and you like the first 2 songs, you like the singles, and you like, oh, I'm a rock with this. You hear Lazy Love and you like, okay, and then you come out with Let Me Love You. It's like, huh? There's no soul to it. So I felt like this album, he disconnected. It to me, it really felt like Red was really a club-based album, and that's what I felt. Because you had Forever Now, Let Me Love You, Let's Go, Unconditional, these type of records, and I'm like, come on, Neo. Like, I know you want to get your bag, but come on, what happened to that middle lane? What happened to that? You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, and I think after he left Def Jam and went to Motown, I think that's when everything kind of changed. Even though, because I felt like, you know, he didn't get his respect that he wanted on Libra Scale, he was like, I gotta roll. And he went to Motown. and I think he became the VP or something of Motown. I'm not sure, but we got Red, and I was just like, once you disconnect on the first on Libra scale, and you kind of disconnected on Red, you lose your audience. You lose your audience. You know what I'm saying? So now Neo knows that everybody is like, yo, where's this R&B, Neo? We want that we want In My Own Words back. We want that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are like, we want that debut. Because if you talk about Because of You and you talk about Year of the Gentleman, there's middle ground. You can hear more of the crossover appeal, but the R&B is still there. So everybody's like, we want In My Words. We want, you know what I'm saying? We want that album. So then Neo says, I'm coming out with a new album, and I'm coming with it, and I'm calling it Nonfiction. And I'm like, okay, I hate when an artist does this. When they realize that people are not connecting, they're like, oh, I'm going back to R&B. You shouldn't have never left. That's how I felt. I was like, you should have never left. You should never have to say, I'm going back to R&B. You should never have to say that. You know what I mean? Because he didn't have to say that when he did Because of You. He didn't have to say that because of the Year of the Gentleman. But as soon as he know his R&B base, it's like, yo, what is going on? I'm going back to R&B to get us. So it's like, okay, cool. So his first single is with Jeezy. Now, that threw me for a loop, because as a fan of Neo, ever since his second album, his first single was never with a rapper. Ever. I think they just did Stay because Petey Crack was on there, and you know that's the normal thing. You know, do a R&B record and throw a rapper on it so it can kind of get credibility, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But when I knew he brought the song out with Young Jeezy, I was like, okay, I like it, but I'm like, this ain't how Neo used to normally do it, because if you know Because of You was the first single. Year of the Gentleman, Closer was the first single. Even with freaking Libra scale, Champagne Life was the first single. Lazy Love, even with Red, was the first single. So I'm like, Neo, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Because now it seemed like this is when trap is really getting in. Because this is what, 2014, 2015? So he felt like putting Jeezy on there. Okay, cool. So I'm like, all right, that's great. You know what I'm saying? We go get that. But what's the second single? Give me a So Sick. Give me all that. Then he gives me this. I'm coming with you. Like he gives me this. He gives me another club banger. I was like, what is going on? But it's so crazy because I like it. I like it. I really like it, but I'm like, because actually, if you want to say, because this was actually on SoundCloud before it was a single. I heard this on SoundCloud and I was like, okay, I like this. You know what I'm saying? But to me, at once, because I was like, all right, I'm going to get Neo's album. I'm going to get it because I'm a fan. I was like, I'm going to get it, even though he 2 for 2 is bad, but I'm going to get it. You know what I'm saying? And I got it, and you can tell how much of a hip-hop influence it was. You know what I'm saying? He done had, you know what I'm saying? He had Run with Schoolboy Q, one more with T.I. He had freaking... what is it? The joint with Young Jeezy. You know what I'm saying? And then his R&B to me started getting very, how can I say this? Very risque. And that was never Neo. He will always give you a song on his album that was very risque. Like he did it with Mirror on In My Own Words. He did it with Say It on Because of You. And then on what was the Year of the Gentleman he gave you? Like a sexy song. Shoot. Junior, think. Well, he gave you a sexy song, just period. Just think yes, he gave you a sexy song. Now, I felt like when he was giving us, like, his R&B was coming that trap vibe. And I know you gotta connect with the audience, but I'm like, by now, Neo is about 9 years in now. You know what I'm saying? He got 9 years out. You are, like, now you are kind of, by 10 years, if you doing you a vet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving him the vet right now, and I'm like, I know you want to make your bag. You could do this coming with you. You know what I'm saying? The joint he got with Pitbull and all that stuff. Get your bag. I ain't hating on that. But your R&B should be R&B. I think the only song that I liked on it as an R&B joint was Integrity, and I liked a Religious. That was it. Because everything else to me sounded very, very R&B trap. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Neo, you don't gotta do this. You don't gotta do this. You could do a couple, you know what I'm saying? Do a couple, but it felt, to me, the album felt very authentic. And that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to bash him, but it felt very authentic to me. And it was all over the place. And by then, I was like, Neo, you three for three. Now it's bad. You know what I'm saying? Because your first three was hot. Now your last three is, I'm like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? I was like, whatever. I'm still a fan. You know, because there's some songs on Libra Scale, like I said, I still listen to. There's songs on Red that I like Miss Right and Be the One and Stress Reliever and She Should Be You and She Is. Like, I like those. Now, if I'm in the, you know, the rave and want to do all this, I listen to Let Me Love You if I feel, or Let's Go. I'm like, okay, cool. But I was just like, after that, I felt bad because these three albums I couldn't listen to straight through like I did with the first three. And that was the problem. And that's where I think everybody really started to disconnect with Neo. And then, again, his personal life came involved with it. And that sucks, you know what I'm saying? Once your personal life starts, you know, people start coming in with your personal life, and, you know what I'm saying, you looking like you're the bad one, and then your music is not connecting, that's when everything goes haywire. And it was just like, nobody was worried anymore. Everybody was like, okay, we moving right along. And then Chris Brown came back in 2011 with Fame, and he got back to where he was. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, by this time, you got Trey Songz is kind of dipping. You know what I'm saying? So it's like really R&B dudes that really got a voice and really is really talented. It's kind of getting pushed to the side for these new ones that's using a lot of auto-tune and all this. We're not getting that real artistry anymore because everybody's starting to sound the same. Even though we got artists, listen, even though we have artists that just don't get the promotion, because I do current R&B bangers weekly because of that fact, but what mainstream, they wasn't pushing these artists. You know what I'm saying? So Chris Brown was kind of the top dude, and I'm like, Neil, you done, what's going on? So finally, in 2018, Neil comes out with Good Man. He gives me what I need, and I felt like this has been the best album since Year of the Gentleman, because I can listen to this album straight through because it's the Neil that I fell in love with. You know what I'm saying? It's the vibe that I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? He came back to the Neil that I love, like One Shot. I love this record because it has those background vocals that I learned to love from Neil. Nights Like This, LA Nights. Like LA Nights is a type of trap type of record, but it's still Neil. It still gave me something from in my own words. You know what I'm saying? But it's still trapping so it could connect. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was dope. Then he did Pushback with Stargate, which was kind of like a club type of record, which is cool. On Your Mind, With You, Over You was Stargate, but it gave us the flavor that we love from Stargate and Neo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still R&B-ish, but it still had that crossover ability. Like, listen, this is what Party Next Door, if I'm not mistaken. See? It's R&B though, but it still got that crossover appeal. See, I like that, and all these were done by Stargate. This one I love. I think this is a favorite of mine, With You, because it's just like, you see the production. Hey. I'm waiting for the chorus to come in. Hey, I haven't even drank, so hold on. Pour me some more a little bit. You, girl, you, girl. That's the Stargate joint. It's smooth. I was like, yes, Neo, give me this. You know what I'm saying? But then on the album, we got the R&B cuts that you love from Neo. You Deserve, Breathe, Back Chapters. This, I was like, Neil, thank you. I don't know who was in your ear, who got with you, but they let you know. Now, this album was the Neil we love. Then we got Good Man that he did with Raphael Sadiq, which I love. Apologize. Apologize is an R&B record that he said he's apologizing to all the women that he hurt in his life. But what I was so mad about, too, that he did this joint that I wish would have made the album. I talked about it on Current R&B Bangers, but Dr. Luke did this. I still like it because it gave me Because of You flavor. Hold on, let me go to the chorus. Another love song. And then the video, Neo had, it kind of gave you the vibe. Neo was dancing in it, he was smooth with it. It was like the Neo that we love, that we was introduced to. This is the Neo that I like. Then he did Earn Your Love, which I thought was a dope joint that could have made the album, but it didn't. But I was like, Neo, thank you. Thank you. This is what I want. And I love the Good Man album. It was one of my favorites of 2018. I thought it was a dope album. It's been an album that I can listen to from beginning to end, and that's what I love about it. And I feel like once Neo disconnected from his audience with Libra Scale, Red, and Nonfiction, his audience left. They left. They was like, we out. You know what I'm saying? Because that would even be me, because I was like, okay, I gave him a chance. Libra Scale, now that I listen to it, now I get it. It was more of a visual album. He wanted to do something that was, you know, innovative, but Def Jam didn't want to give the money for it, so fine. Okay, then you give me Red. You give me some songs that I like, but I feel like, you know, you was more focused on the hits Let's Go and what is it? Let Me Love You. Yeah, that's what. Let Me Learn or something. Yeah, I played it. Whatever. Yo, it was more. He was more connected to those, and I was like, this wasn't the Neo that I grew to like. But I was like, okay, he is giving me some songs on the album that I do like. Once he got to Nonfiction, I was like, no, you're getting too ratchet for me, Neo. That was never you. You gave me a ratchet song, a very sexual song on every album, but you didn't have to get ratchet like She Knows with Juicy J. Like, no. So when he got to, Good Man, I was like, yes, this is what I like. Neo, give me more of these. And I felt like that was the problem. I felt like people disconnected to him after Year of the Gentleman, and he came with Libra Scale, and everybody kind of vanished. And then they went further once Red, and went really further. He tried to say, I'm coming back with R&B with Nonfiction. I feel like people was just like, nah, we good. You know what I'm saying? Because the hits off of it is Coming With You. You know what I'm saying? Coming With You and the joint with Pitbull, which is a New Year's record. You know what I'm saying? So those were the ones that was hitting. So everybody was looking at Neil like he done crossed over the pop. He don't give a damn about R&B anymore. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way people felt. Even though if you didn't get the album, you can't really say that. But Neo, when you were a fan of Neo, his R&B records that had the pop appeal was still hits. So you was able to still connect with him. You know what I'm saying? But for real, I think, again, Neo is one of the best writers. I put him in there, you know, during the time it was Brian Michael Cox and Jermaine Dupri and Jonte Austin. I put Neo in there because he done wrote for every female and gave him anthems after anthems after anthems. And the boy can write. His pen game is nothing to play with. You know what I mean? Again, even though I'm not the biggest fan of those 3 albums that I talked about, but I do like some of the songs on there. But I'm more of a body of work person, and those body of works just didn't connect to me, and obviously it didn't connect to a lot of people. You know what I mean? But when he got to Good Man, he gave me what I loved about Neo. You know what I mean? What I think Neo should do, and this is my opinion, what I really feel like Neo should do, he should go back with Stargate. I think he should go with Major. If he wants that kind of pop thing, then he can get something from like a Dr. Luke. Okay, fine. And get with Robert Taylor, because what him and Robert Taylor did, When You Mad and Lied to Me, they connect with each other. And then he can get with Chuck Harmony. He can get like, Stop the World and Mad, those type of joints. But if he wants to get with a new producer, I think he should get with K Tronada. I think K Tronada has a club sound, but he needs somebody like a Neo to really connect. And I feel like Neo and K Tronada can get together and create magic. I really do. But I kept y'all for 50 minutes talking about Neo, but let me know what you think. What do you think? Where do you think everything with Neo not went wrong, but what did you think people disconnected from Neo? What did you think? Tell me what your favorite Neo songs. Maybe tell me what your favorite album is. Tell me, maybe you like Red as a body of work. You might have liked Nonfiction as a body of work. You might have liked Libra Scale as a body of work. Tell me what you liked about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is the first video, so again, we're gonna be doing this. Hopefully you guys will subscribe. I would just want to keep the conversation going, y'all, so keep the conversation going. Hope y'all share this to everybody, and I hope to see y'all next week. I'm out, y'all. Peace.